Hey nerds, welcome to episode 76 of the Nerd Rundown podcast. This week on the show, Big Morg 3000 and I talk about our favorite plumber returning to the big screen in Super Mario Brothers. Black Adam gets some post-credit goodness. David Harbour as an action hero Santa Claus in Violent Night. Yes, please. We chat about some Ghostbusters and Dune casting news. We also continue to be impressed with Tim Burton's series Wednesday on Netflix. Because it's just us, we have to talk some Walking Dead, and I sneak in a little bit of Star Trek. And Meg gives us a great nerd box question about getting your nerd on and something outside our normal nerd stuff. Ready? Hit it! Hey nerds, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I am Erik Hare, and with me on tonight's show is Morgan Santo, aka Big Morg 3000.
Howdy ho!
You can find us on our social media like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Nerd Rundown. And while you're there, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment. Especially, you folks who download the show on the old podcasts, listen to the audio only. Take a minute out of your day, please hop on YouTube, leave a comment, like the video, all that good stuff. Really helps the channel. And then if you would, leave a Nerdbox question, because we've got a few kind of banked. We've got some really good ones banked out there that we're going to try and cover here pretty soon. Some great debates. Uncle Frank dropped the great one that we're going to try and get to. Our own Meg Bradbury dropped one for us tonight. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But
good one.
Yeah, and then of course you can find us on all the podcast services, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. So this week on the rundown, we'll kind of get right into it. We had the New York City Comic-Con was in, and we didn't get a ton of stuff out of it. I thought we were going to get more, but I think with D23, Disney and Marvel kind of had all their stuff in one bag there. But the big news coming out of this one was we got our first official trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie, and which will be coming out April 7th, 2023. But we got our first look at the new Super Mario Brothers movie. So more, what did you think of the trailer?
So I mean, visually fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely going with a Mario feel. Like it felt like we were in the Mario world. This wasn't like we won't mention the movie.
Right.
But with the Bowser rolling in like he did, the penguins throwing I was cracking up at that. That made me laugh. And Jack's Black Bowser sounded awesome.
Sounds fantastic. Yep.
He sounded really good.
Yep.
I wasn't sure of what to expect.
Right.
With Chris Pratt being Mario in his voice.
Yeah.
So it felt a little jarring at first when I heard it, because it was just Chris Pratt.
Sure.
I mean, I think he had a little bit of some sort of an Italian flair in there that he was going for. I couldn't quite tell, maybe like a New York accent.
Maybe.
So I'm like, man, because I always picture him of that wahoo and that high pitch, like it's a me. But then I went back and I started looking up like the old Mario cartoon that I remember watching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he sounds like a dude from New York.
Right.
With a raspy voice, just like, so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I can let it go. Like,
right.
I'll try to see past it. But it'll be a little weird. I don't know. What do you think it's going to do well?
Yes, I think it's going to do like gangbusters because I know for you and for me,
I'll be there.
Everybody who has kids, who plays any of the Super Mario stuff is gonna go see it. So I think it's gonna be dynamite. I really do. I don't think Chris Pratt's voice is going to be an issue for folks where they're like, I'm not going to go see this because Chris Pratt isn't isn't staying true to the 8-bit digital, character or whatever. I don't foresee that happening. I think Chris Pratt's got a great voice. He's enthusiastic, and I think I think the whole production team is just gonna be really good. The voice actors that they have, or the actors that they have for the different characters.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna really be talking about Chris Pratt during this whole thing. I think as Mario, it's gonna be fine. I think Jack Black is gonna steal the show. I think Keegan Michael Key is gonna be Toad. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong. We've got Charlie Day is Luigi. So, and then Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be Princess Peach. So the whole cast is just awesome from top to bottom. So I have a feeling that it's not even going to be an issue for anybody. I really do.
Right.
The animation is spectacular. The colors look tremendous. This is from the same production team that has done all of the Despicable Me movies. They've done it's the Illumination group. They did all of those, and they did the Secret Life of Pets stuff. So their animation is just spectacular. Their colors are just spectacular. I think they did Sing also. I think they're also in that Sing thing, but I can't remember specifically. But yeah, but all in all, it looked spectacular.
Oh yeah.
I love the very tail end of it with Luigi, kind of getting chased, and man, that was super cool. So, but I'm looking forward to Jack Black as Bowser. Jack Black, I can't really, I don't really like him very much when it comes to like live action stuff, but his voice stuff, I do enjoy him. I enjoy him.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, the Kung Fu Panda stuff. So all in all, it looks pretty doggone good. So we saw that out of the New York Comic Con. We got some other news from the DCEU. We got some news on some projections for how the opening weekend is going to be based on kind of pre-sale stuff, the interest in the project. But Black Adam made some news with the projection stuff, and then also we got some news coming out of some pre-screen, critics and stuff like that have pre-screened this, that we are gonna, I guess we'll kind of spoiler alert this one here. So if you're not interested, maybe skip past. If you want to know more about Black Adam and you don't want to you don't mind spoilers, then continue. But if not, maybe fast forward about a minute or so, because we're gonna get into that. But yeah. So the first news we got, Morg, was that predictions and projections for it are about 70 to 80 million opening weekend, which is kind of in line with what they got for Venom when Venom came out. And so, what are your thoughts on those numbers? I think what I was reading in the article was that that this would be, if those numbers hold true, this would be DJ's biggest opening weekend ever. So, what are your thoughts there?
See, that kind of surprises me, because to me, I feel like that's low for, like, in today's world with these superhero movies. Some of them are like $1 billion on it. So when you hear that, it's like knowing it had to cost way more to make the film, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It seems so low to me, and maybe they're doing it that way. So when it does easily hit it, or it easily hits 100, we could go, okay,
right.
Blew everything away. Our projections. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it happens. Good for DJ. I wish him all the success. He's a great entertainer. So I hope it does well.
Yeah. So I don't know. Those numbers seem okay to me. They really do. I think this is not a Batman movie. This is not I know there's a lot that they're hanging on it, but this is not a Batman or a Superman movie, or a Wonder Woman movie for that matter. This is kind of I wouldn't say a minor character, but it's definitely a smaller character. Having DJ in that suit, it's going to put a lot of butts in seats. I can tell you that much. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I don't know, 70 to 80 million, somewhere around in there, to me sounds okay. I would not be surprised if the movie grosses 500 to 600 million, somewhere around in there worldwide. And maybe more. I don't know. Maybe it gets up to 750, but we'll see. So
Right.
I think this is going to go pretty. I think it's going to go pretty well. My only concern is does it have the legs to make it all the way to November when Wakanda comes out? When the Black Panther comes out, because that's going to kill anything in this. So it's only got about 3 weeks, I think, worth of time before Wakanda gets overshadowed. Yeah. So we'll see there.
Well, that I won't say yet, but if the post-credit scene is true, that could help it.
Yeah,
that could definitely help it.
All right, so here's our spoiler. So if you've listened at this point, just let you know. Like I said, skip past this for maybe another minute or so as we kind of talk about this. But the spoiler is that some critics and stuff have seen the movie, say that there's a post-credit scene that involves Henry Cavill's return to the DCEU as Superman. And so Morg kind of fill us in on what they were saying and what we've heard so far.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, my hope was the post-credit scene was going to be Ezra Miller beating up Hawaii. I thought that would have been pretty interesting to watch, but I guess not. Disappointing.
The studio disagreed with you, so
disagreed. No, I hope, I do want this to happen. I think Henry Cavill got robbed. He needed a trilogy before they even did Batman v Superman. He needed his own trilogy to really get us to try and connect with what happens in that movie.
Right.
So if he comes in, that would be awesome. Now, I'm sure we're going to go into, should I go into the details of it? I guess.
Yeah, let's dig into it. Yeah, we told spoilers.
From what I understand, it's something with Amanda Waller. Basically, like Superman's going to be a way to rein in Black Adam, essentially. Right. It's the way I took it. Like Superman's like my nuclear option for you.
Right.
And he can destroy you type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm interested how that plays out because, I mean, Amanda Waller,
if you watched Peacemaker,
she got outed.
Right. Yeah. She's not exactly on Team Earth. I'll just say that. So Team Human. Yeah. But
I have a strange feeling none of that's going to come into play.
Yeah.
I also think this is not the big return of Cavill. I think this is just going to be a one-time thing. Yeah, because of the way DC does their stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is it. Unless they do a Black Adam 2 and it's him fighting Superman or something.
Which is stupid.
Right. Do that. I think this is it. This is all we'll see of it.
Yeah.
And then done.
Yeah,
They'll
could
get some
be.
toys sold and
could be.
All good.
Yeah. I don't know. I am excited to see Henry Cavill back in the suit. I loved Man of Steel. For the most part enjoyed I've enjoyed his character to this point, although Justice League was bad. I mean, I'm not gonna rehash that. All those other things are bad, but not because of anything he did. But I just would like to see a better take on Superman.
Mustache.
The mustache. So anyhow, I think it'd be kind of cool to use Superman as a check against Black Adam. Make sure he stays in line and not messing around with things and stuff. So, but we'll see. It's if it turns out to be true, I think that's awesome. And so
tickets.
And so that kind of leaves, one other little item that we heard about was, Keaton is still the new Batman for the DCEU at the end of the Flash and stuff. So we'll kind of see
what they're doing anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're gonna see some interesting stuff. DC's got to try to pull it together. We've talked about it for a while. They continue to kind of screw things up, if you will, and continue to mess around. But we'll see. Hopefully they can pull it together. So speaking of kind of getting it together, we'll kind of move into the next item on the list is after kind of a miss of a sequel back in 2017, the team around Ghostbusters did get it together in the latest one called Afterlife, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was great. And one of the main reasons I loved this show or loved the movie was the young actress McKenna Grace, who played Egon Spengler's great, or I guess granddaughter Phoebe. And so we got confirmation that she's coming back to the series, and that for the sequel that they're going to be kind of planning, which we kind of got a hint of at the end of the Afterlife movie, where she said where it looked like we're going to return to the firehouse in New York City. So Morg, what do you think? What do you think about the we're going to get a sequel, which we kind of knew already, but now we're just kind of getting some more details around it. But what do you think about McKenna Grace kind of returning to that?
Yeah, I'm glad she is. I was really hoping if they continued with this Ghostbusters franchise that she would come back. This was, and I would like to see, spoilers for the Ghostbuster movie.
Yep.
I'd like to see the original cast return again.
Yeah.
And essentially train her. Like that's right. What I'm picturing this could be, because now that they showed up, this could be the training. All right, we need new recruits because some threat's coming back,
right,
or whatever it may be, and they get trained. That's what I would like to see, and keep with that right humor, the right tone.
Yep.
No,
that's a dynamite idea.
Yeah, just keep it how they did it, and just do that. I think that would be really good.
Yeah, no, I think that's a dynamite idea. We got we've got a release date right now of December 20th of next year, 2023. Not sure who of that Afterlife cast is going to show up as well. Will we get Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things coming back as her brother? Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, those two. I think for sure we're most likely going to get Ernie Hudson. I hope that we get Ernie Hudson, because it looks like he's made himself into a multi-millionaire, billionaire type guy, and so I think he's going to be doing the funding. So which hopefully will. I for sure think Dan Aykroyd will most likely return. Bill Murray, we'll see. Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts, all that stuff. I don't know, but gosh, I hope so, because I think that's a great idea that you're saying, where they they do some sort of training and stuff like that. I think that'd be super cool. So so I'm excited. I'm excited for that. So New York Comic Con also provided us with a couple new trailers. Some stuff we'll kind of get to. We're kind of bouncing around a little bit with the New York Comic Con stuff, but we did get a trailer for Netflix new series Wednesday. We had a teaser trailer that came out a few weeks ago, and we kind of discussed it, but we got a larger trailer that kind of shows a little more of the cast, specifically one that we had talked about in the show recently that was missing from the cast. At least what we saw was we never saw an Uncle Fester, who in the past has been played by Christopher Lloyd, and man, was he great in the in that series. So we get Fred Armisen. It's now from Saturday Night Live, is going to be playing Uncle Fester, and he looks dynamite, man. He looks really dynamite. So Morg, what are your thoughts on Fester, Armisen playing Fester, and then just overall great. The series? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
It was great. The second I saw her do the sword and it got grabbed and you see electricity, I was like, oh, that's got to be Fester,
right?
And there he was, and that nasally pitch. He's going to be a great Fester,
for sure.
He's going to be great. But no, the trailer I thought looked really good. I want to watch it. Now, I preface this by saying I watched the Sabrina show.
Yeah.
I have seen almost all of Riverdale. That's because of my wife. And I like some of the cheesy stuff. I can't help it.
Yeah.
But this actually looks good. Now, I hope it doesn't go the Riverdale route someday and just the weird quirkiness too much.
Right.
But it did look really good. The school, the whole atmosphere, and of course that teacher at the end.
Yes.
Of the trailer showing up.
Yes.
I thought that was a great little thing there.
Right.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a hit. Everybody looks perfectly cast.
For sure. Yeah. So kind of rounding out the cast, we have Jenna Ortega is going to be playing Wednesday. We've got Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia and Luis Guzman as Gomez Adams. So that's, kind of your top billing there, along with Fred Armisen. So Jenna Ortega, you may know her from, she did a show on Disney called Stuck in the Middle. and which has been playing at my house a lot frequently or recently. My daughter started watching it and has really enjoyed it, and I have actually really enjoyed it too. It's a pretty neat, pretty cool little show about this pretty big family, and then she also was in the Jennifer Garner Netflix movie that came out, I think it was last year, called Yes Day, and that was pretty fun too. It was a cute one about a family. The kids convince their parents to, give them a yes day where they have to say yes to everything. So, which I blame on YouTube for that one, because I've seen a couple of YouTube families that give their kids a yes day, and I'm like, you're not helping us. The rest of us parents, you're not helping. So,
well, my son shows me that, and I'll go, well, sorry, today's a no day.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So no.
Yeah. So I agree. I think it looks really good. I am actually looking forward to watching it. I'm terrible with this stuff. I don't always keep up with everything, but this one, I think this will be a fun one that the wife and I can watch together. And then depending on what the content's like, perhaps maybe even the kids. I don't know. We'll kind of have to see what it comes up with. So,
well, we know my son will watch it. But...
Yeah, of course. There's
we'll watch Batman first. Maybe a little Chucky. I don't
know. So another item that came out of New York Comic Con, and since it's just the two of us on the show today, we're going to indulge a little bit. But we got some Walking Dead news. We got actually quite a bit of Walking Dead news, really. So we, the final season, the final 8 episodes of the season are in progress right now, or of the entire series, the original Walking Dead series, where I think we're into our last few episodes at this point. And I think it finally wraps up, what is it, November
20th?
20th, I think, is going to be the last episode. So creeping up on that. So we got a little bit of preview of the last week's episode, so that was kind of cool. But the big news, I think, more than anything, was we got a peek into a new series called The Walking Dead, Dead City, which is going to feature Maggie and Negan, played by Lauren Cohen and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, respectively. Man, Morg, I've heard rumors that this thing is going to happen, but what? It's apparently it's going to premiere April 2023, but the way things currently sit with the two of those characters in the series,
well, you're not caught up in the series.
I am not caught up in the series.
Then I can't say much. I'll ruin it for you.
I don't understand. It just doesn't seem right.
Because it's not like that anymore. I'll just say that.
Well,
there's a journey that happens.
Yeah, I guess.
But because I didn't watch Sunday's episode, but I am caught up to that.
Yeah. That's a big hatchet to bury, man. And then to go on an adventure together, that's a big hatchet to bury.
It's a big hatchet.
Yeah.
But you got to catch up, because I can't ruin it. You got to catch up. But I'll say this as obviously a devout Walking Dead fan. I just haven't seen last night's or Sunday. What's today? Today's Monday. I haven't seen Sunday night's episode, so last night episode.
Yeah. Competing interests. I'm sure House of the Dragon was probably watched last night.
I haven't watched it either.
I haven't watched that either yet. I haven't watched it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. But I don't need this.
Yeah.
As much as I love Walking Dead, it's like, why? Like, we got to stop milking this dying cow.
I was going to say, have we run out of? Have we run this original cast out? At this point,
that's where I'm at.
And that's
the only thing I want now is that I do want the Rick and Michonne spinoff. That's the only thing I want to tie that up.
Yeah.
And then I could put the Walking Dead world behind me, I think.
Yeah. And then supposedly we were supposed to get a Daryl and Carol, with Daryl Dixon and Melissa McBride. We were supposed to get a series with the two of them that kind of got spun off.
She backed out.
But she backed out, and so now the series is spinning off and moving him to Paris for something, which I don't know. I'm not sure what.
That's
Word is
Maybe
it's
he's
supposed to
very
be.
fluent in French
Yeah,
and
yeah, right. Yeah, right. So I don't know. It seems weird. The news from that one is it's supposed to be kind of epic in scope, but I don't know.
and it could be. I
Yeah,
mean, we've learned that's where the origin of the virus was, and
yeah,
there's things, zombies changing and stuff. That's what we've been learning.
yeah.
But I mean, when somebody show up like, "Are you the Daryl Dixon? We
Right,
need you in Paris." Like,
right. Yeah,
what's he going over
because
there?
nobody else
Can't bring
rides a
his
motorcycle
motorcycle.
like you over in
Yeah,
Paris.
he's gonna ride that across the ocean,
Yeah, right. He's got a jet ski with a bunch of stuff on there. So maybe we get the jet
yeah,
ski, and then we also get what's his name from
right, yeah,
Loki. Get
yeah.
on there.
I
I
know
don't
what you
know.
mean.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So the Walking Dead Dead City, April 2023 is when we're supposed to get that. And in all fairness, I think they did say it's going to be like a mini series. So I think it's like we'll just
Okay,
see.
I can.
I don't think we're going to get. I think it's just going to be like an adventure, the two of them together, and we'll kind of see how that goes.
I
But
mean, I'm gonna watch it.
yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah. So I mean, to go along with there's some other Walking Dead stuff out there. Fear the Walking Dead is still going. They had a limited series, The Walking Dead: The World Beyond, and then the anthology series they've got going on right now called Tales of the Walking Dead. So there's still quite a bit of stories to be told in that universe. But I think it's time for this cast to maybe move on and do some other stuff.
It's kind of like the Skywalkers. I'm move on from the Skywalkers.
I think so too.
I'm fine with you exploring things elsewhere. Let's move on from them.
Yeah,
Like
I think
that.
so too. So speaking of moving on, we'll talk about what you really enjoyed the Dune movie, right? I think you and I had a conversation about that. We really liked it. So HBO Max is doing a prequel to the Dune series that they've got. The Dune movie that's out, and then there's a sequel that they're working on right now, filming that one. But HBO Max has a series that they've green lighted called Dune: The Sisterhood, and so we got our two main characters cast in that in the shape of Emily Watson and Shirley Henderson, who we'll kind of talk about here in a second. But the show itself is set 10,000 years before the events of Dune, and is based on the novel Sisterhood of Dune. And so the series kind of follows the Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and established the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. So if you saw the first Dune movie, you know that the main character's mother is part of that Bene Gesserit, that there's quite a few people in that are kind of pulling strings and in the background and all that other stuff to kind of make sure that prophecies and things like that take place. So we got Emily Watson is going to be playing one of the sisters, and then Shirley Henderson's going to play the other. So for those of you who have watched the Chernobyl series, you would probably know who Emily Watson is. She was the female physicist that was working opposite of the other guys to kind of talk about, how the reactor and stuff like that was pouring radiation into the air and stuff. So phenomenal. She's a twice nominated for an Oscar. So she's a phenomenal actress, really, really wonderful. And I think if you pull her up in IMDb, you'll know her face. You'll be like, oh, I know who that is.
Oh yeah. I'm pulling her up right now.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah.
Yep. And then Shirley Henderson, haven't seen much from her, but if you're anything of a Harry Potter fan, you will have seen her in a couple of the movies.
She's a ghost.
She is the ghost. So Shirley Henderson plays Moaning Myrtle from the series. So she's fantastic. She's absolutely wonderful. So those are going to be the two Harkonnen sisters. And so that I think is gonna be kind of interesting to see. I'm very interested, Morg. I don't know what you think. That it's set so far in the past, so that seems like a long time. What are your thoughts on Dune prequel?
Yeah, I'm interested. Like, I want to see it just because I'm interested to see the form of the sect. Like, because they were mysterious, but at the same time, I like that they're mysterious, and I just don't really know,
Yeah.
And then plus, one thing I worry about whenever we see something that's what's considered the present day, and then you go back in time for follow-up movies. it always seems like the back in time technology is cooler than the present day because we could do more now than we could have,
Right.
And Star Wars is a prime example of that, where it's like, man, why did they change so drastically from all this cool stuff?
Right.
So I'm interested to see how they do that. I mean, they got to show technology 10,000 years ago. So when does Dune take place? Do we have a date on that?
Not that I'm
think
aware
so,
of.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it takes place in the future. The
Right.
whole thing is in the future because I think it's humankind has mastered space travel, and then you've got just this expansion that's out there.
So what is 10,000 years ago from that? Like,
I don't know. It seems weird to me that it's such a it's so far removed, and I don't know. My hesitation on this is that world, or is that universe so interesting that I can be 10,000 years removed from it and still be interested in what's going on and like how that relates to the characters that we're seeing in the Dune series now. And I don't know, that's kind of a big stretch, but we'll see. And I kind of agree with you also. That was kind of a dynamite take. The fact that the Bene Gesserit is a little mysterious in the current series is why it's interesting. So if you're going to kind of remove that mystery, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, if you will, on that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking up, and they're saying Dune takes place in the year 10,191.
Okay.
So then wait.
So maybe the 10,000 is has to be some sort of
right, because I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. You mean we're going back to year 191?
Yeah, so maybe there's something that happens in that year, and that's when the clock starts. That's when the clock starts or whatever. So
we'll see. Well, that's a reason to tune in. I will, to see if they explain anything.
See how that goes. So so we'll see. And then finally we got. I know you're not going to care, but there are 3 people I know of for sure that will care. We did get a couple trailers that Paramount dropped for Star Trek Picard and for Star Trek Discovery Season 5. The Discovery Season 5, I don't care. I really don't care about Discovery. I haven't been into that. I can't get into that cast. Picard, I wanted to like Season 1. I couldn't even get through Season 2. The trailer for this looks... I'll watch it. Just because it's like... I want to see this cast. I want to see if they can salvage this thing from the nosedive that it's in and pull it out at the absolute last second. But we'll see. So some interesting casting stuff coming back. We've got Worf coming back. We've got some of the other original cast. Brent Spiner looks like he's going to be returning as Lore, and then we've got an interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to play into, but in the Star Trek: The Next Generation TV series, there was a character that showed up a couple of times based on the Sherlock Holmes. Basically, it was a holodeck malfunction that caused Professor Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes to basically be able to come into the real world and start wreaking havoc, because he's a pretty sinister villain.
I think I saw that Futurama episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that it's better, but who knows? It just it is what it is. But we'll see. So, I don't know. You didn't have to watch it. You don't even care. I was going to say you probably don't.
I've got nothing.
Yeah. All right. So we'll kind of wrap things up. We'll move over to the Nerd Box, and
do we want to talk about that one Christmas trailer?
Oh shoot! I skipped right over it, didn't I?
I wasn't sure if you were trying to save that for something.
Oh man,
I didn't want to throw the flow.
Well, yeah, gosh, I skipped right over it. I moved it earlier, and I forgot to go over it. Gosh, we got one of the greatest trailers of all time, and I didn't even mention it. David Harbour dropped a trailer this week from Stranger Things, and he. Morg, I'm just gonna pass it to you, because I know that I think you and Meg are way more excited about this than maybe I am, but
I think so. So I know myself and Meg are super excited about this. I showed it to my wife, and she was just like, "What?"
Right?
She didn't even care. But it's just basically, I don't know. It follows Santa, the Santa, who's played by our buddy Dave,
Yep.
Hopper. And then Papa, like Papa. And then he's doing his thing. And meanwhile, this girl gets gifted a radio that can talk to Santa, and her family must be something because John Leguizamo shows up,
right?
Shoots the crap out of a Christmas tree, and then says, "I want the $500 million you have in your house."
Yep.
And Santa happens to be delivering presents at the same time, and Santa does not back down from a fight.
Right.
So I'm pumped. It's just Dave Harbour and Santa whooping ass.
Right. Well, the trailer opens. Great. The trailer opens with him drinking a beer, at the bar, and it's like, okay. So the first thing I watched it, I was like, okay, is this going to be like another Bad Santa type thing? But it's not. It's not anywhere near this, because we get some magical Santa stuff happening. Where he does some stuff in there.
Oh, man, he beats a guy up and says seasoned beatings. Like, that's fantastic. It's like, it's meant to be funny. It is. So I'm looking forward to it. He stuffs that grenade down the guy's pants, runs away, and he goes, "Oh, I have to watch." And turns around to see it explode. Like,
so it looks
gonna be good.
It looks really great. I know Meg said that she's watched it like 15 times or something like that. She's watched it. She's
to watch that one in the car.
She loves that one. So, and I thought it was pretty funny. It's gonna be hard to. I can tell you for sure I will not be seeing that one in the theater, but
I probably won't see that in theaters, but I'm gonna watch that. And it reminded me, I still have to watch the Mel Gibson one where he plays Santa and a kid hires a hitman to kill him because he's getting presents. I still have to watch that.
I don't think I've seen that one, but that's pretty funny. So anyhow, Violent Night with David Harbour. I don't know if do we have a release date on that one?
We've got to. If they didn't, I mean, it was a full trailer, right?
Yeah, it was a full trailer, but I don't remember seeing the release date for it. I imagine probably sometime next month, maybe early December. I'll let you look into that. So
it's got to be December 2nd.
Yeah, that makes sense. So so our very own Meg, after watching the Violent Night, which I'm actually starting to worry about her at this point, but I'm sure she's fine. So after the Violent Night, she did drop a nerd box question to us both. We have a couple of nerd questions banked that some folks have put in that are just dynamite questions. They really are. And
yes,
and so, but they kind of require, I think, an additional person on the podcast. Like, I think it would be better if we had 3 or maybe even 4 people, because they really are
a good discussion.
Yeah, they're really good discussion questions and stuff, including one from Captain Dunsel, one from good old Uncle Frank. So we've got a few out there that I think we could maybe tap into at some point if we have
some of them could be their own show.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So Meg writes in, what's an area of nerdom you'd like to explore outside of the typical nerd stuff? So she gave examples like craft beer. People make craft beer, yard work, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm a big yard guy. Watercolor painting. Hers, she says, is plant care. That's the stuff that she would really like to get into. And bless her heart, she desperately wants to be a plant nerd. Like, that's what she said. She said she's got 2 succulents that she's are living and thriving for the entire 2 weeks that she's had them. They're really doing well. So she's feeling pretty good.
The one that take like no care.
She's really proud of herself for taking care of those. But that's her thing that she'd really like to get into if she had the spare time that most parents don't have. It's stuff to get into some sort of hobby or whatever, or something in nerddom. So she says plant care is where she went. So how about you, Morg? What are your what's an area of nerddom or something that you'd like to get into that you just haven't?
Yeah, and it's really tough because I feel like everything I think of comes to that, because she said not the typical nerd stuff.
Right.
Always comes to like the typical nerd stuff. But I think something. Oh, and Meg, I just wanted to say you are not alone. My wife can't keep a plant alive to save her life. All right. It's awful. We had to suck you when she killed it. But I would like to get into bourbon more, and not just drinking it, but really learning about it, learning about the process, collecting it. I've been getting more bottles and just like kind of having it and collecting it. And I'd like to try and actually make it sometime and just see what that process is like, make it and just have a little batch of, my own bourbon. You can buy a wooden barrel and put it in there and age it. And, like I always thought that would be really neat to really learn about it and how it's done. I thought it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. I thought about this question. She gave it to us right before the show, and so I was like really trying to think about something that I would really into, because I like nerdy, like I don't want to say nerdy stuff, but I'm big into like aviation stuff. I love watching air shows. I love to go and see like the Blue Angels and all that stuff. I like that. I enjoy the yard care stuff, so I've got a couple of like hobby things that I get into. But I think if I could if I could really kind of split into two things, one is photography. Like I'd really like to be a better photographer, and learn how to do photography. Cause I think, I have basic understanding of it, but a lot of the times I just leave the camera on the auto setting because the computer usually does a better job than I could ever do. But photography is one thing that I'd really like to get into. And then the other one is something from my childhood that I loved doing, but I never had the patience for it or anything, which is building model airplanes and building models and stuff like that. Because when I was a kid, man, I get it home and I could not put that thing together fast enough. There was glue and shit all over the place. There was, the paint was terrible. I tear the decals off, just trying to get them off there. And I really didn't care like what the finished product looked like. I wanted to get it built so I could play with it,
Right.
So I think if I could get into something maybe a little nerdy, I would like to get into building models and stuff, and not just airplanes. I've there's other stuff that I like, the cars and all that stuff. So I think that would be maybe my thing.
I think the big problem with having another nerdum is nerdum isn't cheap usually.
No, it is not.
With bourbon, that's not cheap usually. And that stuff. I started picking up golf. That's definitely not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's tough with some of these things, and they can take up a lot of time. But I'm always willing to try something.
Well, and
and be nerd about something.
Yeah. And that's the thing is each of us can kind of dive deep into different stuff, and that's why I think it's always fun to have different nerds around, because everybody's we've talked about on the show, everybody's a nerd in their own way, whether or not they admit it. Like the guys who are football nerds, they're big into the stats and they know all that stuff, and they may not see themselves as nerds because they're like, well, I'm a jock nerd, but it's like, hey man, you're still a nerd, whether you, whether you admit it or not.
I can tell you the cast to a movie, and you can tell me an entire sports team and their stats.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know who the shortstop for the New York Yankees was in '74. That's there's guys out there that do that, guys and gals out there that they absolutely love that stuff, and so everybody's, like we said on the show, everybody's a nerd in their own way, and we celebrate that here. We love talking to people from different have different nerddoms. So if you would, in the comment section, tell us, what nerddom are you into that maybe we don't know about, or maybe there's something that you have always wanted to get into. Yep, that you think would be pretty cool. I could always like to be a pilot too. Like that's one thing I'd love to get into, but that's cool. Super expensive.
That's very expensive.
Gas is so expensive. Plus, I'm kind of clumsy, and I have a feeling that I probably end up a smoking hole in the ground. As it would.
Hey, maybe you'll love it so much you'll end up with your own Mustang like Tom Cruise.
Oh man, that would be super
That'd be pretty
cool.
sick.
That would be pretty cool. So. Well, thanks, Morg. Thanks for joining on the show today. I know we had a little bit of a quick one this week, but
nothing wrong with that.
We had some good news items. I think all in all, we had some good stuff to kind of go over and discuss. I feel like I'm missing one that kind of came up, and I wanted to talk about it, and I can't think of it. But anyhow, there's some some good stuff coming down the line here as far as movies, TVs, and stuff like that. We're getting the finale, I think, of She-Hulk this week. Is that right?
It should be. Yeah, this should be the finale, right?
I think this is the finale of She-Hulk. Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragon is kind of coming to an end. I think we've only got a couple episodes.
Is that the finale coming up too?
We've got well, let's see. We just had episode 8 yesterday, so we've got 9 and 10. So only two more episodes of that. Walking Dead is coming to an end, so there's some series coming through there. And from everything that I have heard, Andor is really good. Everybody,
I still haven't checked it out.
I haven't watched it, but everybody I've talked to that has been watching it says that it is a super gritty, dark, kind of the Star Wars that a lot of people have been wanting. We're getting on the small screen in both The Mandalorian and now Andor. So.
Still need to watch Werewolf by Night.
I've heard nothing but good stuff about that as well.
Okay, I'm interested to see. I'm one of our number one fans. I say that because we have a few number one fans. Yeah, we can't make them, but he was very disappointed with it. So.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I heard that.
To see him.
Yeah, I had heard a couple people that I hear stuff from said that they applauded the MCU for going out on a limb for doing something different than what we've normally seen.
They've been doing,
and to make it as adult as it was. So so we'll see, but so we'll
judgment.
So we'll kind of see how that goes. But with that being said, Mork, thanks again, buddy. It's always great having you on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I love being here. This was a good time as always.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, thanks everyone for listening. Tune in later this week. We'll have the House of the Dragon review coming up. Probably drop Thursday, I think, this week. We'll probably record it Wednesday night and then have it out on Thursday. So check wherever you get your podcasts for that. If you're watching House of the Dragon, or if you just like to listen to our voices, check that out. So House of the Dragon, and then we'll catch you all next week on the Nerd Rundown.
Like and subscribe.
See ya.
Deuces.